Hey guys, welcome back on the Uncle Sharma channel. We are back for the mid-season tier ratings. We did this last year with Milli from Box to Box. Of course, if you're not familiar, get familiar. This guy is part of the TikTok, Instagram, YouTube sensation, and now also award-winning podcast with Box to Box. Make sure you check them out. They do Premier League, Serie A, European football content. These guys are the ones to go to when you want entertainment, fun, banter when it comes to football. But thank you, Milli, for being here.
I appreciate it, brother. Obviously, that intro, you always give an A1 intro. So I really appreciate it. But yeah, obviously, super happy to be here. Anytime I could speak about Inter freely without any interruptions, I always take the opportunity. So yeah, man, I'm excited. We did this last year. Obviously, we know who went in those top tiers, those bottom tiers. I think there's going to be a bit of change this time. So let's get into it.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's funny. Yeah, we were talking backstage on who we put MVP last season, and I think it's going to be a little bit different this season for sure. But just for the visuals, let me put it on the screen how we are discussing today. So, of course, we've got who is the MVP, mid-season MVP. Good, okay. We've added an extra tier because last season people were saying we needed one more tier to put players in. So we have below expectation. We still have the put the fries in the bag tier. Unfortunately, Correa and Arnautovic are not here for that one. And then we have the doesn't exist tier, which are already put in Thomas Palacios, Di Gennaro, and unfortunately Matteo Darmian, because these guys have barely played.
Yeah, honestly, Darmian, always been serviceable, but yeah, it's time to put you in the doesn't exist tier.
Yeah, exactly. And at the end, actually, I don't have the visual for it, but I want to, because it's a new coach, I want us to rate Kivu as well in terms of maybe just out of 10 by the end of this conversation. Because I feel like, I think we both were kind of Kivu doubters. I don't know if you were, but I was.
Yeah, definitely was. But obviously, you have to back whoever's at the helm. But yeah, definitely some doubts. But we'll definitely get into that.
Yeah. Okay. So, Milli, let's get into it. I have a question for you. First of all, do you remember who we put in the mid-season MVP last year?
MVP last year. I watched the video, but was it Lautaro or Thuram? Was it Thuram?
Yes,
I think it might have been Thuram.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. Yeah, no, definitely a conversation. I don't know if you want to start. Well, we could start with whoever you'd like, but yeah, I think there's going to be a new MVP this year.
Yeah, so I want to start. What I want to do is work our way kind of from last season's one. So I want to see. So basically, it was Thuram, Dimarco, Bastoni, Barella were the mid-season MVPs from last year. Yeah. Are they still mid-season MVP level this year?
Don't think so. I don't think so. But obviously, it's not that they're not MVP level. It's more that the level that they were at last year, it's a significant drop.
Okay, let's start off with Thuram. Like I feel like last season he was the one carrying us in the first half of the season, because Lautaro last year, we know he came back late from the Copa America, wasn't quite fit, blah blah blah. Thuram carried us this season. He started off well. I think we forget because he had his injury and now he's not come back very well. He still has 9 goals this season up until this point, all competitions, which is not too bad of a return. But where are you putting Marcus Thuram this season?
Thing about Thuram is obviously it seems like that there's an injury still lingering and he's not playing at 100%. However, it's just that final product hasn't necessarily been there. For some reason this season, he's taken that next step in terms of set pieces. For some reason, he's an absolute demon on the set pieces. But his overall play, I do think, has taken a bit of a downturn. I would go personally. It depends how harsh we want to be. I would probably say, in terms of the context of the team, it's either okay or good. I'll go good. I don't know what you're thinking. But I think good is all right. He's kind of teetering. He's teetering on both. It's very difficult to gauge because we know that the end product could be there. Yeah. It's just recently it hasn't.
So he has 11 GA from 17 starts, which is or 17 appearances, which is not too bad of a return in terms of minutes per ratio. So he has 1,000 minutes. So that's around almost a contribution every 100 minutes. obviously, I think there's the stat pad against Venezia in there in the Coppa Italia.
Yeah, no, and obviously last game scoring in the second minute definitely helps. But at the end of the day, after that second minute,
okay.
yeah, I'm teetering towards more okay, because although the stats say that he has been effective, the actual in game, we've definitely seen like he's taken a bit of a downturn. Has not been that marksman that obviously we were hoping he would be. So I think okay is fine.
Yeah. I think, and I think you said it depends how harsh we want to be. I feel like after the ending that we had to last season, I think we're going to be quite harsh.
Yeah, and honestly, I think it's deserved. I really do think it's deserved. So we'll see how it goes.
Next up, we have Alessandro Bastoni.
Bastoni, it's very tough for me. It's he's my favorite player on the team, and I always make sure to defend my boy whenever we're in that elite center back conversation. It's just that there's been a lot of mistakes recently with Bastoni, and it's a shame because we know how good he can be. But if you want to be considered that top 2, top 3 center back, you can't be making the mistakes that he has been making. He's been caught flat-footed. He's been making some poor decisions. Like, it's tough. I don't want to put him MVP level, even though he has pretty much contributed pretty well, pretty nicely, almost on that Gabriel level of contributions. 5 assists, a goal as well. Like, he's definitely been extremely effective. And I think the mistakes are coming from him having the ball a lot more than last year. Like, for some reason, he's been kind of like that quarterback in the back, especially in that back line. So I would probably put him in the good tier, the one right below MVP for now. Yeah. Maybe if we want to change it up with the conversations, maybe that could be something that we could do. But I don't think he's been amongst the best players on the team right now. I am being very harsh towards him because I know how good he is. We know the levels that he could reach.
Exactly.
So it's so seeing him now, obviously there's been a lot of changes on the back end, but at the end of the day, he's playing the same position. He should be taking that next step rather than kind of digressing. So or regressing, apologies. So
yeah, no, I agree. I think with some of these guys, like we were talking last year, it's like we have expectations for some of these guys. So you could even say that he's in that sense he's falling below expectations, but that would be way too harsh.
Yeah, I think it's between okay and good, but because the thing is that he hasn't been an extreme defensive liability, but we understand where the level that he's played at before. So it definitely got to be.
One thing that I would like to say as well is I've ruined the question I had for you because I was going to ask you who is the player with the most outfield minutes, even more than Jan Sommer. Actually, it is Alessandro Bastoni. So he, in past season, remember he would have like flu-like symptoms. He'll miss like a game here or 2 games there, like with some little injuries or something like that. This season, he's like ever present, barely ever gets injured, barely ever gets the flu, apparently. So he's playing a lot more. So obviously, he's going to be involved in maybe some more negative moments as well. And I think as Italy fans, I think we also judge Bastoni. Maybe we don't mean to, but we also judge him for Inter after he comes back with the Italy national team. We're thinking, he's not looking very good with the Italian national team.
Yeah, no, he honestly hasn't, and it's a shame because obviously I think the goal with Bastoni was to make him kind of that focal point in that defensive line, but it's clear that sometimes he's not able to be that one defender that kind of leads that back line. Like, he always needs someone that's of a good level to play next to him. Yeah. So it's kind of difficult to gauge.
He's always going to be the Bonucci to someone, isn't he?
Exactly. So that's kind of the vibe, which is a shame because he is a top 5 at the very least, a top 5 center back in the world. I would argue probably top 3. But the thing is that with those minutes, obviously come more mistakes. So definitely that is a factor. And I'm just glad that Kivu's putting in the trust in the players as well, like to keep Bastoni on for 90 minutes, where we've seen with Inzaghi, wherever he would take him off in crucial moments would cost us a lot of games, costed us a lot of points. So obviously it's good to see Bastoni playing full 90s. It's just more, we need him to take that next step, and he hasn't done it so far. We'll see in the second half of the season.
Yeah, I'm happy to leave him in good, but I can already predict in the comments, people will say he should be in the okay section. That's my guess. And you guys let us know in the comments.
I'm a little sympathetic to Bastoni.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to the other person who was in the MVP section last year, Nicolo Barella. Is he staying in the MVP section? Let me tell you his stats from this season. Only the 1 goal, 5 assists, but he is the third most minutes player with 1,640 minutes. Well, how are you feeling about Nico?
It's for Nicolo Barella, it's very frustrating to watch this season, unfortunately. And I do think that obviously he has that quality. We all know what Barella's quality is. He could be an elite midfielder. However, I think this season he's definitely played a deeper role where it's just like he's not getting those goal scoring opportunities that we're so accustomed to seeing. And the
Or when
fact
he gets them, like Atalanta, he completely fluffs his lines.
oh yeah, that was embarrassing, unfortunately. But
Mm,
we know what Barella can do,
mm,
and just like Bastoni, it's the same type of conversation where we've seen kind of a step back from the levels that he has shown. And I think a lot of people have been frustrated with the way he's playing with the back the flicks, the heel kicks and all that. So he obviously is trying to play with that flair, but a lot of times it doesn't translate well, and then it ends up costing the team with goal scoring opportunities, counter attacking opportunities. So very difficult to put Barella in the MVP tier, even though he's been very consistent in terms of, as you said, minutes and contributions. Like he pulls out a pass or two per game that is just like that is the elite Barella that we know.
mm. Yeah.
But I'm okay with putting him in the good tier for now. Even actually, maybe okay. I think a lot of people would say okay.
Yeah. And I think that the thing with Barella is he because someone sent me one of the subscribers of the channel, Gab. He sent me a chart today. You know, one of those shows them top 5 league
Yeah.
midfielders. Barella's like still in the top right of the chart in terms of through passes into the box and progressive passes. Like he's always top of these charts or like near the top of these charts. So the thing is, Barella's okay level is still better than pretty much every other midfielder in Serie A. So even his
Oh yeah,
okay level is
100%.
not bad. It's just that we know, similar to what we talk about Bastoni, Thuram, we know that these guys could be doing a lot more.
Yeah, and it has that vibe where they're not necessarily putting a full 100%, 110% into these games sometimes. And
Mm,
it's very frustrating to watch, but we know how good Barella is, and he does show those in games.
yeah,
And obviously the stats prove it, like as you said, like he's pretty much in those 99 percentiles in terms
yeah,
of through balls and passes and whatnot. But it's obviously when you're watching the game and you know that he should be taking over these games,
yeah.
he really isn't sometimes. And it's very
Mhm.
frustrating to watch.
Yeah, especially like, big game flops we've been this season, right? Inter.
Oh,
How many games could you say that, yeah, Barella in that big game, he's, taken over our midfield against Rabiot or Manu Kone or someone like that? It's
yeah.
always been kind of our midfield has let us down in the big games.
Yeah, it's been a shame, and obviously in those games you expect Barella to kind of leave his mark and prove to everyone that he is one of the best midfielders in the world.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it hasn't happened this year in the bigger games, but we know the quality is there.
Do you put him in that conversation, like you said with Bastoni? He's definitely top 3, top 5. Is Barella for you in terms of
Oh, I think midfield. I think midfielder. There's definitely more quality than in the center back position, in my opinion, in terms of like just
Yeah.
world football in general. So I would probably have that conversation of maybe like a top 5 to 10 midfielder, but I think that's mainly because like obviously the end of the season, last season was kind of hard, and then leading into this season hasn't been playing at that level. So it's tough to justify anything higher than like a top 5,
No,
but
yeah.
but
Definitely
I
not
do.
on form.
Yeah, yeah. But when he's on form and when he's playing at the level we know he's playing, he's
Yeah.
at minimum a top 5.
Yeah. And again, we also, because we watch a lot of Italy, we don't see him perform that much for Italy. So that also takes it down for us.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame.
Yeah.
I hope they find a way to translate their game from Inter to the Italian national team because the drop off is very stark. It's very very noticeable at times. So
Yeah.
fingers crossed for March.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah,
please, God. um, the last one is, of course, Fede Dimarco, who last season had a cracking start to the season. I feel like people forgot because he had such a bad second half of the season. People forgot
yeah,
that he was amazing in the first 4 or 5 months. But this season, he seems like, I don't know if you agree, he looks fitter, he looks sharper.
one hundred
He's
percent.
he's completing full 90 minutes, which I don't think we've ever seen him do for Inter and Italy. So we might see a drop off again in the second half because he's playing so much football. Where are you putting Dimarco?
I'm inclined to put him in that MVP level tier right now, simply because it might
2
be a hot
goals
take
and 5 assists.
Yeah, it might be a hot take, but he's one of the few players that kind of also, like, speaking about Italy, has kind of translated his game to the Italian national team as well. He has been playing very well. And for Inter as well, he's been one of the more consistent players that I could look to and say, okay, he's having a good game. So
we can put him there for now.
I'm more inclined to put him in. I'm not saying he is the MVP.
Yeah.
However,
we're gonna have a conversation, who it is. So let's put some guys in there for now.
Yeah. But I do think Dimarco, the way he's playing, and compared to the second half of last season, he's definitely brought his game up. And he has been in those 99 percentiles for most of the most statistics in his position. So I would argue that he's probably playing at a top 3 level right now in terms of fullbacks. And I don't think that's very controversial. So
no,
Dimarco, I'm glad to see him back playing at his best. It's more the question of, can he continue that for the second half of the season and into those deeper Champions League, more serious Champions League games as well? Because we know last season, those CL games, he was beyond the liability. It was better to play with 10 men sometimes.
The whole fan base was like, please start Augusto against Yamal, please.
Even forget that even during the CL final, it was a bloodbath. So very rough. But this first half of the season, glad to see Dimarco back on top form.
Yeah. Okay, those were the big hitters from the start of last season. Let's start going through some of the lower tiers that I'm guessing might be some of these players.
Yeah.
Give me your thoughts on someone who's rumored to be leaving Inter again this January, like he has been last January. Davide Frattesi. He was in our put the fries in the bag, bro category. Where is he this year?
As I would
0
argue,
goal contributions this season up until now, if I'm correct.
This is a doesn't exist here. If there was anything below doesn't exist,
he's got 2 assists. He's got 2 assists. I'll take that back.
But I don't even remember. I can't even recall when those assists were. But
I think it was one against Venezia for sure, the Andy Juve goal. Then I don't remember the other one.
But even for me, we all know, we could see through the stats on the Davide Frattesi. We know that he has been so poor this season, and it doesn't help that Kivu hasn't really given him the trust to play in the midfield. But I mean, we'll speak about the other midfielders as well. But if you're telling me that Frattesi deserves to play over the other 2 or 3 midfielders that are currently playing right now, I will just laugh at you, because that Frattesi has been so poor in the way that he plays. Just tactically doesn't really fit anymore, and as well, like the way that he plays, I'm sorry, just doesn't translate with this team anymore. I'm gonna put him in the doesn't exist here, or just below expectation. Whatever, put the fries in the bag. Probably fries in the bag. I think doesn't exist is reserved for players that actually have 0 minutes. So,
because last year, if you guys remember, we had the Inzaghi penitentiary section, because there was those guys that Inzaghi, like Buchanan, that would not play, get any minutes. So this season we don't have that section. So I feel like put fries in the bag is correct, because I think I can't remember which game he started, but he's just not convincing. Even when he comes on a substitute, whether he starts. And this was supposed to be, remember in the summer, the rumors were like, oh, Kivu is a big fan of Frattesi. He wants to play him behind the striker, etc., etc. And
hasn't worked out. Hasn't worked out. And obviously, like, I think a lot of people would agree that his level has dropped way lower than what anyone would have expected. I think after last season, obviously with his heroics in the CL and all that, like, you were expecting him to kind of like take that next level, and he's fallen flat on his face. Poor decision making, poor touches. He's been one of the more frustrating players to watch in his very limited minutes, but very frustrating.
Would you sell him in January? 30 million, the rumors.
If Juve comes calling for 30 million, I think that is a you take it and run situation. He is not a 30 million euro player in any stretch of the imagination. So I do think that, if an offer comes 25 to 30 million, I think we just have to cut our losses and take it.
Yeah, I think he can be in the right system. I think Spalletti would get the best out of him. But for Inter, in this system, we know now it's the 3rd season. The guy is 26 years old. He's not a young guy anymore. So,
No, call it a day.
Yeah. Okay, you can pick the next player.
Maybe another midfield. I mean, we could hit Mkhitaryan right off the bat if you want to take him out for now. Like it's just another player where again has been somewhat frustrating to watch at times, but he doesn't deserve a starting spot anymore, and I think that was evident even last year.
Yeah.
I do actually like him in that substitute role and that kind of like final minute role, and I think that's what a lot of people were kind of suggesting as well, like saying that's kind of how you get the best out of Mickey for what he has left. He is not a 90-minute player anymore. He really isn't. So I don't know. I would probably put him in, like he hasn't been great, hasn't been terrible. So I would probably put him below expectation for now. But that's kind of saying doesn't really mean much because obviously I think the bar was kind of low for him to begin with.
He's only got the 1 assist all season.
Yeah, and honestly, like I think that's due to limited minutes. Hasn't really like and in games sometimes like obviously Kivu decides how he wants to play, but I don't know. I think either below expectations or put the fries in the bag. He's kind of been irrelevant this season, but I'm just glad that Kivu has. I think people were concerned at first because he was getting starts, and it was like, okay, why is he starting?
It was on my channel we would do the meme, the hand on shoulder meme.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, is starting? Nope, Mkhitaryan.
Yeah, no. So it was kind of just like, okay, we were concerned, but now we've seen the emergence of other midfielders. So it's kind of forced Kivu's hand here. Like you can't play Mkhitaryan anymore because the level of the midfielders that have been playing. So probably below expectation or put the fries in the bag. It's up to you. What do you think?
Yeah, below expectation because he actually even got injured this season. That was the one thing that he never used to get injured for us. So
yeah, but that opened the door up for other midfielders to come in and play. So it was a bit of
similar to Barella, like we said, like he gets into those goal scoring positions, and we have no faith in the guy. Like we know this guy is not going to hit the target.
Mkhitaryan's worse, in my opinion. Mkhitaryan has been way worse in those positions. So. The amount of I think he probably could have had at least 3 or 4 goals this season if he actually knew how to place a ball and square a ball. So, below expectations.
Yeah. Okay. Let me do one that I feel like the whole fan base is kind of. I think we'll be in agreement on this one. Yann Sommer. I think it's time to go.
Yeah. This has been a very disappointing first half of the season for Yann Sommer, who last season was one of our more consistent players, one of our best players, arguably. Sometimes some may say, but this season, the blunders, in the big games especially, has costed us against Juve, costed us against Milan. Like this is a player that unfortunately you cannot have on a team that is striving to win the Scudetto. Unfortunately. I'm putting him. I would probably put him in. It depends how harsh you want to be. Below expectations, I think is fair, but I also think put the fries in the bag is fair as well because I think we all knew this was coming. We knew that at one point Sommer was going to take a dip in form. I don't think we realized it was going to happen within the first 3 months of the season. I'll probably put fries in the bag. I think the fan base would somewhat agree. He has made some decent saves, but at the end of the day, there's games where the opposition has 1 or 2 shots on target, and then we lose the game 2-1. We lose the game. We end up losing the game off of poor decision making from Yann Sommer. So it really depends how harsh you want to be. Really depends how harsh you want to be.
I feel like we should be harsh.
It's deserved, but it is deserved at the end of the day. You are considered a top goalkeeper. That was seen in the award. Like he was 3rd or 4th in the Lev Yashin award as well for last season's performances. So he had that level, but he just fell off.
We're seeing those Handanovic last 2 season vibes where like we're all getting those flashbacks, and it was quite clear to see. And here, maybe you could say it's harsh that it's on Kivu. Kivu is the one that's kind of sticking with him. Then we know Jose Martinez had that unfortunate incident, so he couldn't start in that period. But it didn't seem like Kivu was really transitioning Yann Sommer out of the team anyway.
Yeah, he seems that he's sticking with his number one. He said it in press conferences as well. Like he's my number one. But I mean, at the end of the day, Jose Martinez is healthy competition, has put in some decent performances this season, obviously the penalty shootout. So yeah, it's very frustrating to see when Jan Sommer is starting Serie A games, crucial Serie A games, but then Jose Martinez is getting relegated to Supercoppa and Coppa Italia games. Like we know that at the end of the day, Jan Sommer is not at the level that he needs to be for a starter at Inter.
Yeah.
That's just what it is.
Yeah, it might be harsh, guys, but I feel like we should be harsh with some of these guys because they're, again, the expectations that we have. Okay, what about Jose Martinez then quickly? I mean, he maybe deserves a category of his own because he probably deserves a category that says deserves more play time, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I don't want to put him, I think, below expectations for now, just because I don't think it's a put the fries in the bag situation, because he has been a professional. He hasn't come out and said that he wants more playing time. He hasn't been disgruntled from what we've seen. Obviously, behind the scenes, we don't necessarily know, but obviously with the unfortunate incident that happened earlier this season, there's a lot on Josep Martinez right now that he has to kind of overcome. So it's difficult to say put the fries in the bag for a player that obviously hasn't really been given his fair shot. And in the games that he has played in, he has been pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't
would you
know.
Put him in okay?
I would be okay with putting him in okay.
Yeah.
So yeah. So just because with the limited minutes and games that he's had, he has been pretty comfortable.
360 minutes. That is
it's really not a lot. So and a lot of that is what Coppa Italia games, Supercoppa games. So it's tough to be harsh on Josep Martinez, who has gone through a lot. And at the end of the day, he did make some good he made penalty saves versus Bologna. Like that game was not lost by him.
No.
Unfortunately, like that, it was not his fault. And I do think he deserves a shot. The question is, does he have the quality to be the Inter number one? I think there's two camps. I think some people say yes, some people say no. I'm kind of in the middle because he doesn't really give me a bunch of confidence, but he has been solid.
Yeah. He's never been given the chance, to be honest. So I can't really judge him until he's been given a good run into the team. But it seems like, I mean, there's two coaches now that are not giving him the starting spot. So I guess that's the answer.
Yes, it's a shame, but I do think he deserves a shot.
I agree. Okay, let's do another guy that's kind of in the middle of the news at the moment, but not necessarily for leaving right now, maybe in the summer. But he kind of caused a bit of controversy recently because he's changed agent. In the summer, he had this release clause for 25 million that no one triggered. Denzel Dumfries, who definitely was one of our best players last season. How are you feeling
100%.
about Big Denz?
He did have from what I recall, the first half of the season, obviously he's been injured for quite a while now, which I think caught a lot of people by surprise. We didn't think that was going to be a serious injury at all. No. I think the initial reports were coming out that it was going to just be maybe a couple weeks, but now it's been a couple months, and so obviously
he's got 3 goals in just over 1,000 minutes.
I would put him in probably it depends. Do you want to take the back end stuff into account? Obviously, with the change of agents, transfer rumors.
I don't give. I don't.
Yeah, this simply playing ability.
Yeah, I feel like he was a little like before the injury. To be honest, he seemed like he didn't quite fit the Kivu system. It seemed like the new style of play didn't seem to fit him as well.
It's a mixed bag with Dumfries. I would put him in the okay tier. I do think that he had some very good games, but with the injuries, hasn't really had that much playing time. And near the before he got injured, I think there was a run of like 2 or 3 games where it's kind of like you could tell that he was off. He was getting subbed off, but like you could just tell he wasn't 100%. So
and the lack of substitute has made us miss him.
I know. So I think that's why we're dipping our toes into the transfer market for that Cancelo loan, but. Yeah, no.
By the way, what's your quick thoughts for Cancelo to Inter? Are you in or out?
I don't see any other options. I think Palestra was another option, but I think Cagliari wanted like 40 million for him. So it's just like if we could get a loan Cancelo. Atalanta as well. Like Atalanta's being we all know with the Lookman situation how they could work. So I think it's good. It's a good market opportunity. I would take it. At the end of the day, it depends on Cancelo. Like if he says he's waiting for Barca, if a player doesn't want to play for Inter, I don't want him on my team.
Yeah.
I don't want him to play for a team that he doesn't want to play for. So if he's going to hold out for Barcelona, make him wait. Like it's we look for other market opportunities. We're not a club that should be waiting for players to say, okay, we want to be your second choice. So
Agreed.
it's and Cancelo, we all know the history of Cancelo. Everyone has a differing opinion on him. He's had some attitude problems.
Yeah.
But we know that he's a top player. So for a 6-month loan to kind of alleviate the Dumfries absence, I think it's a good deal. It just depends if he wants to play for us. If he doesn't want to play for us, then we'll look for somewhere else.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
But back to Denzel. Yeah, I think I'm okay with okay.
Yeah, I think so. I unfortunately, the injury doesn't help, but it depends if he can bring his form back up to 100%. If he's bringing flashes of that Barcelona Denzel from last season in the Champions League and just the level of play that he brought last season, then you could put him in that good tier, maybe even MVP season. But at the end of the day, he hasn't been playing at that level.
Yeah, agreed. Let's move on to, let's do some of the young bucks. Let's do the 2 new young guys that we had in the team that we were all excited about this summer. Pio Esposito. I mean, Italy fans, Azzurri fans, we are dying. We are starving for some young talent. So the fact that he gets a lot of, I don't know if you've seen it, bro, on the social media, especially from opposing fans or Milan fans or Juve fans, they make fun of Pio Esposito, but
comparing him to Nkunku, please. There's levels to this. There's levels to this.
Let me bring up his stats real quick. So Pio Esposito, he has done 800 minutes, 3 goals, 3 assists. But I think he's done more than just the goal contributions, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, no, he's brought such a different style to this team whenever he's on. That hold up play, we haven't seen a level of hold up play like that. I don't want to hype him up too much, but we haven't seen a level like that since those Lukaku days where it's kind of just like he is just a brick wall in terms of just holding up the ball, getting fouls, getting himself in very good positions. He's a very intelligent player for his age. So fantastic to see that Inter could produce a player like that and integrate him into the first team. Scored in every single competition that he's played in this season. So obviously we know that he has that quality. I'll put him in the good tier, right? But a good tier for what he's done. Obviously, he's still young. He's not necessarily a starter yet, but from what he's shown and coming from Serie B, it's as if he's been part of the team already for at least a season or two. So glad to see Kivu integrating one of his younger Primavera players that he's been coaching in the past, into the team. And he's just been a breath of fresh air. I think that's what the team and kind of the fan base needed after last season's disappointments. We just needed something to look forward to. and I think Pio was one of those things that we could have kind of said okay, that's a player that we could kind of put some eggs in that basket and root for him and have some hope for him. So I'm so happy to see him part of the team, and it's just I could see him becoming that top player in the future for Inter and also Italy. Italy, he's been scoring as well. Yeah. So I'm glad to see him getting minutes as well. I wasn't expecting him to get minutes, but he has just added such a different dimension to the team, and no, I'm glad to see it.
No, 100%. As you said, we if you just look past just the statistics, is everything that he's done that I've been impressed with. And I think we can see he's got potential to do more. Sometimes I feel like I don't know if you agree with me. I feel like he runs too much almost, because especially with his body type, I think he
gasses himself out
to impress.
He gasses himself out, and obviously he has a lot of work to do in terms of his technical ability, because obviously I don't know if you noticed, but every time he tries to shoot or get a target on goal, he ends up falling, or it's almost like it's like a desperation shot. He needs just a bit more finesse to his game, a bit more technical ability, but that comes with experience, that comes with play time. And he has the quality and the build. I think the build is more of a question how do you play him? But he could be a very technical player at the end of the day. He's just very raw right now. So
and he's a big boy. He's always going to be clunky. He's never going to be easy on the eye.
No. But I think if we're okay with him just being a bagsman, scoring, holding up the play, getting in those positions, I think we're going to see a very, very good player, and I think we're going to be very happy.
Yeah, agreed. What about his twin? I don't know how to call him, his striker partner that we're also excited about, Boni. Were you excited about him in the summer? Because I know that a lot of people saw his 5 or 6 goals for Parma and they were like, 25 million.
Obviously, I didn't watch every single Parma game that Boni played in, obviously.
Yeah.
But watching from what I saw and the research after the fact, we knew I could see right away that the quality was there. Obviously, yeah, they looked at the goals like you said, but you put him in a system that has very good players, it will just help him. And obviously at Inter, we have a very good midfield. We have good fullbacks that could provide good balls to him. And we've seen the results of that. Has he surpassed his amount of goal contributions that he did at Parma last season?
Already,
Yeah. So we see the quality, and he's been such a good player. And I've been very, very surprised with what he's done. Obviously, there's questions as to how can he develop. I do think that he's like, if he gets his speed up, his reaction times up, he could take that next step as a player, because obviously if you're looking at just in Serie A, it looks very, very good, but we need to see Boni in those Champions League games against some top teams and then really gauge where he is. So I'm very happy that we have Pio and Boni on the bench, and it's just someone that you could see when he comes on, when he subs on, it's like, okay, he has an opportunity to score. Like he could get that crucial goal. And I've been very surprised. I don't want to put him in that MVP level simply because of the playtime. He's not an out and out starter. Obviously, depending on how the season goes, I really wouldn't be surprised if he ends up getting more minutes taken away from Thuram. If he takes more minutes away from Thuram, and he becomes that starter, I could see it happening. So he's definitely putting some pressure on Thuram right now.
Yeah, no, I agree. You could even say similar to Jose Martinez, like maybe deserves more minutes. I know he had he's injured right now, and then he had some illness a few weeks back. But I feel like he could have done with more minutes. In time, he's got 5 goals and 6 assists. He's one of the top contributors in the team.
And honestly, the goals that he's scoring as well, they're fantastic. And just the build-up play on those goals as well. Like you're seeing a cohesive team when he's on the pitch. So it's a very it's glad to know that we have kind of like an insurance policy if Thuram doesn't necessarily perform. And we have someone that, even Lautaro as well, if he doesn't necessarily perform, we have Thuram, we have Boni and Pio there. So I'm glad to see
that we've got these two, bro. Like last season with the 2 backups, we had them in the fries in the bag.
What I even tell the guys, I'm like, I cannot believe that Inter made it to a CL final, 1 point off of the Scudetto with such a horrid attacking force. So it's just like breath of fresh air, like I said with Pio. It's glad to see some actual competent forwards playing for Inter right now. So that aren't Thuram and Lautaro. So glad hope to see a very good second half of the season from Boni and Pio.
Yeah, definitely more goals from both. I would like, especially Pio.
Yeah.
Let's move back towards the defense. Talk to me some of the older guys. So we talked about the young bucks. I mean, these two have been in the news recently as well, because apparently there's some interest from Al Hilal for Stefan De Vrij and Francesco Acerbi. What do you make of these two?
Inzaghi wants his boys back. I'm not opposed to it. I'm really not opposed to it. Unfortunately, the way that Kivu plays such a pragmatic and attacking style of play, it does not bode well for these two defenders at all, especially in the center back position, where it's very crucial to be alert, not just alert, but just physically capable of handling a counterattack. And we've seen Acerbi on a number of occasions mishandling a counterattack, leaving people open. And Acerbi trying to track back,
it's not even his fault, right? It's like it's just not.
That's just the way the team plays. Like you put him on an island, and it's very difficult to recover if you're caught out. So unfortunately, Acerbi, if you want to do both at the same time, we can. But Acerbi for me is a fries in the bag situation.
Oh,
like it's up to you. I'm very harsh on him simply because the game is gone. The game's past him.
Yeah.
The game has passed him a couple seasons ago, but last season was kind of like, I really saw last season as his last push. His kind of whatever is left in the tank.
That Barcelona goal was his last, literally his last moment.
I could pinpoint right away. I'm like, that's the best and last thing we'll see from Acerbi for the rest of his Inter career. So I could be a little harsh on him. I do think that he's put in some somewhat decent performances. It's just that the style of play that Kivu plays, it just doesn't bode well for him. I think it's better for him to kind of just look somewhere else right now in terms of a team. But no, difficult. And in terms of De Vrij, like I think a lot of people were surprised of how he played at the beginning, like right at the beginning of the season, because he put in some very good performances. And it was kind of like, okay, I think we kind of have our center back for now.
But then Kivu's not played him. He's only had 500 minutes.
Literally since that time where we kind of questioned, like, okay, do we have a center back here? Should we keep him? Because the whole argument was, okay, we're going to let De Vrij leave, but then we're going to like, okay, now is it going to be a renewal, 1-year renewal, because now we have someone there. But those talks have definitely cooled down. And I would say below expectations, or put the fries in the bag, same thing as well. Like he has actually put in some good performances. I don't know if I'm being too harsh, but you could let me know.
I feel like both of them I would put below expectation. I know what you mean with the Cherby, like the games left him behind, but I feel like he still puts in decent performances.
Yeah, I
like
really don't mind putting him in below expectation. I really don't mind. I think he like for what he's done, and obviously it's not the best tactical situation for him as well. Like he has done well with what he's been given. So I think I'm just harsh because obviously center back is such a crucial position that we've all seen needed to be reinforced this summer. And we're
just tired of seeing the same guys, right, in that position.
Exactly. So it was just kind of like, okay, we're really coming into the season with a Cherby starting as center back, and now you're seeing right now this carousel of, okay, do we putting Akanji center back, Bisseck center back. I think Bastoni even had a moment in the center back position as well. So that's the result of not addressing situations and problems in the summer. So the reliance on those two for this season, I think we've kind of pushed it a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. But it seems like finally Kivu's maybe phasing them out, because we see Akanji starting a lot more now in the middle with Bisseck on the right.
Yeah, definitely agree.
Let's talk about Akanji then, because he was the surprise signing on the last day of the window. Pavard out, Akanji in. I was happy about the move, but I was like, if we just kept Pavard and brought Akanji in, that would have been perfect.
That's been my my conflict with it as well. Was I didn't necessarily like the 1-for-1 situation where it was just like, okay, we lose Pavard, who we spent a lot of money on. We lose Pavard, but then bring in Akanji. I felt it kind of like a net neutral. Yeah. But once Akanji started playing, you kind of saw the quality. We saw that, okay, this is a Manchester City bench player. You know what I mean? Yeah. And he's came into this Inter side and arguably, I think for me personally, has been the best defender this season. And I don't know if that's a controversial take, but I think he has played a lot better, not necessarily a lot better than Bisseck, but on par or better than Bastoni. I personally, for the defense, I would put him in the MVP tier, because he has brought such a level of stability that Pavard didn't bring, especially in that latter half of the season. Last season, Pavard was somewhat of a bit of a liability at times. And obviously he had that goal against Bayern that kind of fired everyone up, saying, okay, that's the guy. But at the end of the day, Pavard defensively wasn't the level that Pavard that we were hoping to get, that we got in that first season of Pavard. So bringing in Akanji, directly replacing him with Pavard, I saw the difference right away. Yeah, I saw Akanji brought that pace, that physicality, that intelligence, that IQ of the game. He's been making some good passes, like good forward passes. Defensively, he stayed back when he needed to. So I've been very, very happy with Akanji.
He's like, and now movable for Kivu. We see him like pretty much starts almost every single game.
Yeah, I honestly thought that he had the most minutes, but then I realized, like, okay, it probably took him a bit of time to kind of get in the squad. So obviously a player like Bastoni getting more minutes, but Akanji right now, like if he's not playing a full 90, it's either because he has no gas left in the tank or he's injured. There should be no excuse to not play Akanji. And now in that center back role, he's actually been playing really well. Like that's the type of intelligence that we need in that center back position, and he's bringing the physicality and the type of quality that we need in that position. So very surprised. And obviously with Pavard, I'm not sure if Marseille may even take up the buy option. So we may actually end up with Akanji and Pavard next year. But I don't know. It's forward thinking, but Pavard, I don't think he has any more minutes left at Inter if he comes back. I think they're going to try to ship him out.
Yeah, we'll see, but I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind
I
if
really wouldn't
Pavard,
mind. That's quality.
yeah,
That's the quality that we need, especially.
yeah.
But it depends if Kivu wants to play a 4-back next season or whatnot. If he wants to transition to a 4-back, so really depends. But Akanji MVP level, in my opinion, deserved.
Yeah, agreed. Very, very consistent. What about, okay, yeah, let's just finish out with the defense then whilst we're here. Jan Bisseck. So he's always somehow at the middle of some form of penalty or handball controversy.
Yeah. No, it's
is he unlucky or is he has the bozo gene?
I think it's a mix of both. I think you can say a mix of both. But obviously, there's a lot of times where it's kind of you're watching him and you're saying like, dude, come on, like you shouldn't be making those types of mistakes. But at the end of the day, like that Bologna penalty, I don't necessarily think that was entirely his fault. I saw a little bit of a nudge from I think it was Santi Castro that kind of like nudged him a little bit, kind of took him out of like a bodily position. But yeah, no, I those things are kind of a stain on his kind of performances. I do think that he has played better. I honestly think he has played better. He's made less mistakes. Obviously, the mistakes he's making are obviously there's a spotlight on it because they're decisive mistakes. They're penalties. They're fouls. That like it's difficult to gauge. But overall, I think his play's been good. I'm okay with putting him either in the okay tier. I don't know about the good tier because good tier it's like you're putting him with a Bastoni level defender. I don't think he's there, and Bastoni doesn't necessarily make the level of mistakes that Bisseck makes. Bastoni's not putting the team in extremely harmful positions, but Bisseck sometimes he does. But overall, his one-on-one ability has been a lot better. I think aerially he still needs to improve just a little bit, but I've definitely seen improvements compared to last season where the guy looked like a deer in the headlights every time a ball would be thrown in or would be like swung into the box. He didn't know where to go. His positions were all out of whack. So no, glad to see slight improvements from Bisseck, but his overall game, he just needs to be more aware of things. That's all it is. And at the end of the day, handballs, like it's either your fault, not your fault. It's always going to be a debate. So
no, I agree.
That's mainly what it is. I think okay is good for him for now.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. He had those 2 or 3 games in the center back position as well, where I felt like he did decently there.
Yeah, no, definitely did well, but it was kind of just like, okay, it was good to try. But I definitely think I definitely think out wide is where he's more comfortable because we see on the ball he's an extremely good ball playing defender. Yeah. Extremely good ball playing defender. And with his feet, there's not a lot of defenders that could play like dribble with the ball at their feet like that. So he's making some decent runs into the box sometimes, like he's trying to bomb his way through. And I do like that. I do like to see that from my defenders. More all-round style of play is just obviously those big decisions, those big controversial mistakes. Those are the ones in the spotlight. You just have to weed those out of your game.
Yeah, but if he continues playing like this, I feel like he could make the World Cup squad for Germany as well.
I definitely agree. I definitely agree. But obviously, I think there's still a bit of competition for Germany. But to see him on the bench for Germany, I don't think that's
because I think they have Schlotterbeck and Tar as the starters. Then they have maybe Malik Thiaw as one of the options.
I think Bisseck has been playing better than Thiaw. But I do think maybe that Prem juice might push him over the edge because he has been getting some good prop. But recently, Thiaw has not been playing that well.
Rudiger. What about Rudiger? Okay.
Rudiger's more of a legacy pick in my opinion, kind of like to keep like that cohesiveness in the squad. But I don't think he's been playing at a decent level. Like he's been playing all right, but probably good enough to start for Germany, maybe. But I think Tosh Schlotterbeck is probably the way to go. But Bisseck, he has the quality to make that team 100%.
Agreed. And then his value would go up for us.
What? Don't mind that. That.
And let's finish up with the ever reliable new hairline, new man, Carlos Augusto.
Nah, I got to take some tips from him, bro. I got to know who his surgeon was. I'm going to need it soon, I promise. But
let me see what his stats are real quick. So he has 2 goals, 2 assists in just under 1,000 minutes. Not too bad.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of people were hoping that Carlos Augusto would get more minutes, maybe in that like left center back position as a sub for Bastoni or that left wing back position. But I think 1,000 minutes is pretty fair for him, and he's been decent for what he's done. But I don't want to say below expectation. Like,
Yeah, I think he's
it,
always going to be okay. I feel like.
yeah, he always puts in a decent performance, like 6.5, a 7 out of 10. Like
Yeah,
he doesn't put the team at risk. He's not really a liability. And he's the type of player that Kivu puts on that obviously you need a bit of defensive solidity. You need someone that if you need that in the on the left side of the ball, then that's not a problem. But and then obviously if Augusto, he could even play on the right sometimes as well, that in very desperate situations. So very
yeah,
versatile player. He's kind of like our new Darmian, if you think about it.
yeah.
I think that might be a little harsh on Carlos Augusto because I do think the quality of play is a lot better than what Darmian has had over during his Inter career. But it's
So it's
that
true. You even
sentiment.
played him on the right for which I don't think we should ever do
No, no,
again.
no.
But
I don't think so. But that's the level of versatility that I think he has, where it's like you need that type of emergency player, break the glass situation. You have a Carlos Augusto, and that's a testament to that Marotta picking out players that know are good for the squad entirely, not specifically for one specific position.
yeah,
And that's what there was success with Darmian for that, and I think Carlos Augusto is kind of on that same wavelength with that. So very good player. I'd say okay.
yeah, okay. And then his Brazilian counterpart, the new signing this summer.
Two
Is
different
he the new Dalbert or
spectrums.
not?
Yeah, no, it's harsh. It's very harsh to put fries in the bag. I put below expectations for now.
Yeah,
Because I do think that this is very similar to me from what I've seen when Dumfries first came in, where Dumfries, when he came from PSV, like he was this like bomber on the wing, would make insane runs. But that first season at Inter, like he was very timid. He wasn't making a lot of deep runs. He wasn't being that attacking presence that he was kind of known for at PSV. So I think Luis Enrique is kind of the same vibe, where it's like we brought him in because he's such an attacking presence. He was at Marseille, like that was his MO. But then what we saw at Inter was a much more timid version of Enrique, and I think that he's been playing a bit more attacking, like he's kind of imposed himself more on the squad. But it took him a while. Excuse me. It took him a while to kind of get into the groove of this Kivu system, and I do think a lot of people, including myself, were very harsh on him at the beginning.
same.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, 25 million or 20 million, that whatever we paid for him, there are going to be criticisms that come with that. And I do think that he's still not playing at 100%. He's really not. No. There's something that he's holding back still. I'm not
whenever
seeing.
He's faced 1v1 with a guy, you know that, at Marseille, you feel like he would have taken the guy on, but here it's kind of like he goes back.
Yeah, no, he's playing more of the safe option, but I think over time it might change. Maybe second half of the season he might play. He might take the game more, but I think right now below expectations simply because he hasn't solidified himself as that starter in that right wing back position. Like obviously Dumfries is there, but he hasn't really given a lot of confidence even in Dumfries' absence.
I agree. Hopefully we see some improvement in the second half, especially if Cancelo comes in to give him some competition.
Definitely needed. I don't think the team will do well if Enrique is the out and out starter.
Yeah, until March, I think that's
great. Rough, very rough.
Okay, so that's the defense. Now we've got the midfielders, or actually this guy you could count as a wing back these days, Andy Diouf.
I don't even know what you could consider him. I think Kivu is just trying to see trying to either give him minutes, or I really don't know what the plan is for Andy Diouf, but this is probably below expectation. I'll put the fries in the bag. I think
he has only 174 minutes, poor guy, and 1 goal.
Yeah, no, but Kivu, honestly, credit to Kivu for defending him in press conferences and whatnot. Like obviously, I think Diouf has kind of been somewhat of a scapegoat for the poor performances at Inter. And obviously, if you're playing only 175 minutes, it's not your fault that the team isn't playing top level football. But people are looking to him and saying, "Oh, this is like poor management. This is poor planning by the management." So. Obviously, there's a lot of criticisms. 50 million on Enrique and him as well. Like that's a lot of money. That is a lot of money. So, I think below expectations is fair because I think coming in, we saw him as a very technical player, a physical midfielder that could take the game to he could take the game on. But has not shown that at all and has made very, very costly mistakes at times. For in the limited amount of minutes he has
Yeah,
made some.
those first two cameos were like, oh my goodness,
Oh
this is
no, it
like
was
some
brutal.
Dogbeer vibes.
Yeah, no, it was kind of rough, and you never want to start off like that. You
Yeah,
never really want to start off like that. So, like, I mean, throwing him in the fire right away, it is kind of tough. It's unfortunate for him, but
but the
I've
fact
kind
that
of
he's adapted as a wing back, that's a bonus, right?
yeah, definitely a bonus. But again, is that what you brought him in for?
No, yeah,
You know what I mean? So it's yeah, okay, he might be able to play wing back, but at the end of the day, like he's supposed to be a midfielder, and I hope he gets more minutes there, but he needs to prove to Kivu in those trainings that he deserves minutes there. So
Mm.
we'll see what happens second half, but definitely below expectations. 25 million a player that only has 175 minutes. It's looking somewhat disappointing.
Agreed. Okay, what about yeah? You can pick the next one. I want to leave Hakan and Lautaro till last.
Yeah, definitely. We'll take the youngest one of the bunch, Sucic. Honestly, has been I don't want to say revelation. I think that's a little too a lot of glaze for for Sucic. But 21 years old, coming into this squad and playing like pretty much a vet, almost like has been very, very good to see a young midfielder finally
Yes,
breaking into this squad. So I'm gonna put him in the good category for now, and I think maybe some people would say okay because I think the cameos that he has had like hasn't necessarily been like 8 out of 10 performances or whatnot, but I don't
yeah,
think we can expect that out of a 21-year-old midfielder right now. At the end of the day, he needs time to adapt, and he has
yeah.
adapted fairly quickly. And the style of play that he has, we haven't seen a midfielder like that. Like the only one that could kind of be comparable is Barella right now with the technical ability and his footwork and whatnot. So glad to see that we have a young midfielder like that we could kind of like adapt the team to for the future. So
Yeah.
I've been very happy with his performances. And I'm not sure about you, but I'm happy to
No.
see that he's been part of the team.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Kivu, he started playing him quite a lot at the beginning, and then he kind of seemed to bed him in a little bit more. Some of his what I've been like a little bit disappointed with is some of his substitute appearances. He kind of comes on and
Yes.
he's kind of still a little bit soft, if you know what I mean, like in the
Yeah.
duels and the defensive side of thing, which is expected. So I was leaning towards more the okay category, if you know what I mean.
I'm good.
But
I'm good with that because I do think that again, maybe good and MVP is probably more considered for those like they had to have made such a massive mark on the squad, and I do think that he's made a good mark on the squad. Is just again like as you said, his substitution his sub appearances haven't been fantastic, and yeah, we want to see more grinta. We want to see more like a fight in those duels. So I'm
yeah,
okay with putting him in the okay tier, but I'm excited to see that second half of the season and once he
yeah,
gels a bit more with the squad.
definitely. As you said, like hopefully this is the time where we see more of him, and rather than Mkhitaryan.
Yeah,
Which brings
agreed.
on to who we have been seeing a lot more compared to last
Yeah.
season, Piotr Zielinski. I love this guy. I don't
Uh,
know if you were in the same boat as me. Like, you know, when he was at Napoli, he was one of those players that I always
yeah.
wished Inter signed, and he finally came to Inter, but he had a very underwhelming first season last
Yeah,
year.
no,
What are you making of him this year?
he has been fantastic. I think people would even say that he's been our best midfielder. I
Mm,
personally, I don't think so, and I think we'll see that with the last two players that we talk about. But
yeah,
Zielinski has been definitely our second best midfielder in my opinion, and that's saying a lot because especially with Barella in the midfield as well.
yeah,
And he has definitely taken his level up, and I'm glad Kivu is giving him the minutes and recognizing that. And listen, Zielinski is putting his money where his mouth is because at the end of the day, he said at the beginning of the season, said I think it was during Club World Cup, he said that like you're not seeing the best version of me,
yeah.
like you
He
haven't
said you're gonna
seen,
see the peak Zielinski this season, Inter fans.
yeah, you haven't seen it. So to say that. Even with a lot of turmoil around you, like a lot of uncertainty, is kind of very
Yeah,
bold from him, and he's kind of proven that right now. And I'm very, very happy to have a Zielinski, a top version of Zielinski, because we've been working with the imagination of Zielinski, like
yeah,
what he could be,
yeah.
for Inter. So I'm glad to see a very, very good midfielder, and it's either good or MVP. Honestly, it's one of
Yeah,
those.
honestly, yeah, I just looked. He's got less than 1,000 minutes. So I feel like he's got two Like he doesn't have enough minutes for me to
Yeah,
be considered in the MVP category.
yeah, I'll
But
put good for now, but
yeah,
he's on the cusp, honestly, for
yeah,
like his
he is.
quality of
Yeah,
play. His quality of play has been fantastic. So
and
like
goal of the season contender, right? Or already goal of the
yeah.
season winner, maybe.
Yeah, no, I think considering the amount of players from last year, I don't remember where we put Zielinski last year on the tier
He
list,
must
but
have been below expectation or whatever the
yeah.
equivalent was last year.
But definitely I think one of the players that has taken the biggest jump compared
Yeah,
to that.
most improved.
Probably yeah, most improved, definitely.
Mm, agreed. Yeah, we can give him the most improved award.
Yeah, definitely.
Now let's end with the two big boys who are the two highest paid players in the team as well.
Yeah.
Hakan Calhanoglu, Lautaro Martinez. Which one do you want to do first?
We'll keep El Capitan to last. We'll
Okay.
keep the captain to last. But Calhanoglu, now this is who I would say has probably been our best midfielder this
Mhm.
season. I think it's contentious. I think a lot like some people would. I think there's still a Barella hive out there that still says that Barella's the best midfielder, but he has not proven it this year. Calhanoglu
No.
has proven it, and obviously this past summer there was so many rumors of him leaving the Galatasaray
Mhm.
saga. Like it was I was very uh off put by Calhanoglu this season. I was really okay with him leaving in the
Same.
summer.
Same.
I was really okay with it because it was like, okay, well, clearly he doesn't want to play for us, then you could just leave. It's
Yeah.
fine. But
But I
he's
didn't want to undersell him as well. Like I was
yeah, no,
happy that we
that's the
didn't
thing.
undersell him.
That's the thing. It was kind of like at the end of the day, you can't force the club to sell you for less than what you're worth. Like
Yeah.
you can't do that. So I'm happy that he's been reintegrated back into the team. I think Kivu handled it very, very well.
Remember there was a point where he was actually top scorer in Serie A.
He was Capocannoniere, I think like 2 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks
Yeah.
ago, which is kind of crazy. But I think he's been probably one of our biggest contributors this season. Probably second, if I'm not mistaken. So
Yeah, so he has 7 goals, 3 assists. So he is, top 3 with the Lautaro and Boni and Thuram. So yeah, he's
yeah,
right up there.
no, he's definitely there, and I think he's proven it. But one thing I will say is I don't think just because he's been our best midfielder, I don't necessarily think he's been one of the best mids in the world. Like I think for that like that regista role, that CDM role, like he hasn't played at the level that I think we saw in that 20, what was it, 22, 23, where like
23,
what
24,
the
the
23,
second
24
start
as well,
season.
like where he was playing. I was having conversations between him and Rodri.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what I was fighting against. So I don't
Yeah,
think he's played at
defensively, there's been a few like mistakes in big games. I think the Milan game, he was the
yeah.
one that lost the
That
ball, and
lost
there was
and he lost the
another
ball
one.
again too. I think the game after the 2 games after as well. Like
Yeah, yeah.
he
Then he
he
missed the
has
penalty, of course, in the derby against
yeah.
Magnan. So
So
it's not been I don't think anyone in this team has been flawless in this kind of.
no. Definitely, I agree. So I the level of play that he has shown, and with the goal contributions, I think he deserves MVP, the
Yeah,
MVP conversation. Not necessarily MVP, but definitely in
yeah,
that conversation.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
And then
Oof.
let's finish up with Lautaro Martinez, who started off the season definitely below expectations,
Yeah.
maybe put the fries in the bag, but then luckily for us, he has picked things up in the last few weeks where he's been, I think, 3 or 4 matches in a row, man of the match for Serie A. Obviously, scored a lot of goals in Champions League as well.
Yeah.
Where are we putting El Capitan
Uh,
Martinez? It
oh
almost
boy.
feels like by default, because of the levels here, that he has to be MVP level.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like I think we could put him in MVP just to have the conversation, but we've watched every single game this season. We've seen the games, and it's been more than we would like, where he's kind of been invisible
Yes,
in games.
especially the big games.
Yeah, and it's almost predictable at this point, where it's kind of like you see a big game fixture and it's like, okay, like will he show up? We
Yeah,
don't know if he'll show up. I think now, obviously with his goal tally now and what he's done in the last 4 or 5 games, you could be more confident. But earlier in the season, before these 4 games, it was kind of just like, when is he going to pick it up?
yeah,
And when is he going to take that next step in terms of like he's always been in the conversations for me personally of the best strikers in the world, but now
yeah.
especially that first half of the first half, like the first quarter of the season, it was very difficult to kind of justify putting him in those categories, you know. So I'm gonna put him in MVP, but his level of play hasn't necessarily been great in games. I do think that he needs to be somewhat more consistent in the overall game. Goal scoring, he's been great. And I do think that he has fluffed his lines at times where like very easy goals. And this is so typical of Lautaro where he fluffs the easy goals, but then makes the hard goals look easy. Like that's just his MO. And obviously if he gets the rest of the game down and he plays very well and is very like and could decide games, that's great. But his overall play needs to just be a little better. But yeah, I don't know. It's a mixed bag with him. I love Lautaro. I'm glad that he's our captain. I'm glad that he's leading our lines this season again. He's the one player that has kind of put his heart on his sleeve in terms of like being an Interista. And when I'm like, obviously Dimarco's there as well with the tattoos and whatnot. But Lautaro has embodied that captain role. Yeah. And that's what we needed. That's what we needed this season. We needed a leadership that kind of like could steady the ship after such a rocky end of season. Obviously, that comes with performances. If you're able to perform, you're able to convince the team that like, okay, we're all in this together. So he's put in the performances recently. I think, there was a conversation to put him in the either okay or below expectations, but besides these games. So definitely a conversation, but deserved right now.
If you average it out, it probably is good, right? If you average out the two half of this season, but I feel like the level, like you see, it's weird, right? Like last season we had these clear mid-season MVPs that were like standouts. This season is kind of like it's not that. It don't feel like there's such high performance levels. It's like the whole team has done decently, and there's no real bad guys like we had last season.
Yeah, no, like I think the tiers have definitely been more gray rather than last year. It was very clear cut. It was very clear cut who are our best performers, and they performed on every front. Whereas this one is kind of
the ass ones were.
we knew, we definitely knew. So it's I agree. I think the median, like if you put everything together, the team has been okay, decent.
Yeah.
Or even below expectation. If you want to argue, if you want to be harsh on the team, you could even say below expectation, because obviously the talk is we are the best team in Italy, and it's by a large margin, but we haven't performed like that recently, especially in the big games. So,
and we've been worse in the Champions League compared to last year.
Yeah, and obviously I was worried it would happen in the Champions League. I was very worried because we saw those last four fixtures. They were all against top sides. I was like, okay, guys, we're top four in CL, but the quality of opposition, we kind of know we're good against these guys, but we know we're not good against very top opposition. So I hope Kivu turns it around. Obviously, it didn't happen versus Liverpool. The Liverpool game was very frustrating, very, very, very frustrating. So
we got robbed.
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm gonna I'll let you have the honor of giving the Uncle Sharma channel mid-season MVP award to.
Brother, you got to chime in too. You got to let me know.
I'm feeling Akanji just because of just the consistency. Like there's no real standout moment or performance, I feel, but I just feel like I want to reward just the 6.5, 7 out of 10 consistency that we got from Akanji this season.
Yeah, and I think we also take into account the fact that this is his first season as well. Like he's just getting into this squad, and he's playing at a level that not a lot of players are playing at on this team. So I think he's definitely been a focal point on this team. I'd give it to him. It's either him or honestly Dimarco. It's one of the two for me. But I think Akanji has just been a lot more consistent. Dimarco has been very good on that attacking phase. Chala for me has been the best midfielder. Lautaro has kind of taken the reins again as kind of like that top marksman for the squad. But again, the context, taking into context, why is Lautaro the top marksman? Because Thuram is not playing well. Why is Chala the best midfielder? Because Barella has taken a step down. Like it's kind of like we have to take it into context. So I think Akanji right now has not necessarily, like obviously Bastoni on quality is the best defender on the team, but Akanji, based on the performances of this first half of the season, I think deserves MVP.
Okay, I think we're on the same page then. So congratulations, Manuel Akanji. The award will be posted to you soon, so you should be receiving that. So make sure you give us a story on your Instagram receiving the award. But that is our ratings, and I want to just finish up with Milli on Christian Kivu. Give him a rating out of 10. So give him, Serie A, Coppa Italia, Champions League, expectations, performance, future projection? Like, give me your kind of your rating at the moment.
So off the top of my head right now, I'd probably say in between a 6.5 or 7. I think a 7 is fair.
Yeah.
Mainly because obviously the situation he came into, not ideal for any manager. I don't think a lot of managers would have handled that situation as well as Kivu did.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the performances against the big teams, that's not necessarily his fault, because at the end of the day, there's 11 players on the pitch that are trying to execute your plan. But if they're fluffing lines and it's all individual mistakes, it's not necessarily your fault. But again, you have to put the team in the best chances to win. I think sometimes he kind of overplays his hand with the forward pressing and the attacking, that we end up, and it has been an issue often that doesn't seem to have been resolved, where like the counter attacking is just so, like, I close my eyes every time we get like someone that counterattacks us, because it's like it's these small mistakes that we end up getting punished for nearly every single time. So I do think that he still has a lot of work to do. Obviously, with the integration of the new players, I think he's done very, very well. At the end of the day, it just comes down to like how can you bring this team to the next level? Right now, I still feel like the team is playing. Some people say they're actually playing better than Inzaghi's Inter, but I think Inzaghi's Inter came with a bit more of more solidity, but that was more of a Champions League thing. But Kivu overall, I think for him, focus on the Scudetto. Don't necessarily focus on the surrounding competitions. Obviously, don't embarrass yourself in the Champions League. Just that my expectation for him is either a quarterfinal finish, or if you make a semifinal in the Champions League, I'm very happy with that. But it has to be Scudetto or nothing.
Yeah,
for me,
I agree.
It has to be that. Like, you need to bring this team back to that winning silverware kind of mentality, and obviously, you will not do that by pushing as hard as you can in the Champions League. We saw that last year. We saw the team was wiped out. The team was wiped out. So
the squad is not deep enough to do 3 competitions. So
no, not even last year. There was a conversation that it wasn't. So I obviously
7,
I'm hoping for the best.
Out of 10?
Yeah, I'd say 7 out of 10. I don't know if I'm being too harsh. What would you give him?
Yeah, I was thinking around. I feel like just the mental side, what he's done. Like, I feel like I thought having almost the same squad, and this guy has managed to like refresh these guys somehow. Mentally, like a lot of them talk about what he's done on the psychological level, almost like he's been their therapist.
Yeah, so no, he's taken on a lot of roles.
Yeah, just for that, I feel like I give him like a 10 out of 10 on that side.
Yeah,
big games, as you said, that's a 5 out of 10. Then rotation, I think there's some improvements that he can make on rotations. I feel like Inzaghi was rotating more in the Champions League than Kivu has been.
Yeah.
That I feel like that could bite us in the ass later on if he doesn't start rotating a bit more. But yeah, overall, I think I'll give him a 7.5 from me.
Yeah, I don't think anything higher than an 8. An 8 for me would have been good results against Milan, Juve, maybe the win against, if you got a win against Liverpool, or even a draw against Liverpool, staying in that kind of like solidifying yourself as a top 8 side in Champions League. I really think that would have pushed him over 8 and above. But again, there's context. The guy came from Parma, barely got some games in at Parma.
My expectations were like, a 5 or a 6.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people were saying that he was going to be fired by January this time. But at the end of the day, obviously we have to see how the game goes this week. But like staying in that top 2 in Serie A, competing for the Scudetto, that's the expectation. So hopefully we finish off the season well, and we end up with at least a Scudetto. I would say at least a quarterfinal finish in Champions League. Coppa Italia, if we make it to the final, maybe go for the silverware. It really depends how we're doing in Serie A, in Champions League. But I would just say focus on the Scudetto. Don't overcomplicate it. Just do what you can to get this team back to winning silverware. And if that starts with the Scudetto, that starts with the Scudetto.
Agreed, man.
Yeah,
I hope so. As long as we're not trophyless this season, that's
the one thing. Being so close to trophies and then being a point off a Scudetto, CL final loss. Like we can't do that again. I don't think it hurts. It hurt too much. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Milli, that was the video. That was our tier rating. We tried to keep it under 1 hour, but we failed. We went to 1 hour 15, which is still 15 minutes less than last time.
Apologies.
No. This is good, because good conversations, having fun. Hopefully you guys stuck out right until the end. And if you have, make sure you leave a thumbs up, subscribe, Comment down below your thoughts, which one you agree with, disagree with. Make sure you send your abuse to Milli if you disagree with some of his takes.
DMs are open, don't worry.
And yeah, Milli, close it up. Let them know about Box to Box podcast.
Listen, Uncle Shams, you're an insane host, man. A1, as always, class act. Like he said, if you haven't, make sure to subscribe. This is where the best content comes from. It's from you, man. So I've been a listener for I don't even know how long. Like you've been a focal point in my journey. So it's honestly fantastic work you've been doing, bro. And if you want to check me out, hear some more Inter takes, and you want to hear some Milan, Juve, Manchester United takes, if you want, check out us on the Box to Box show, and we have a Box to Box podcast as well. So
yes, sir. Thank you everyone that watched this. Make sure you leave a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, as I said, and we'll see you for the upcoming videos. We've got the Bologna game tomorrow, so make sure you check out my match preview and reaction for that. Ciao ragazzi, always, Forza Inter.
Forza Inter.